And so as we've gotten better at shelter, we've gotten better at understanding what it takes to help families move through homelessness into stability. And that unconditional positive regard, that's always where it starts. And when we can bring that in a real way, what happens is more families move through.
November 11th, 2025, 4:30 to 6:30 at the Uptown Cafe Bar. We would like to say thank you with a no dishes happy hour. It's free to attend. We're going to have apps. We're going to give away gift cards. We're going to mingle and chit chat. It's going to be a great time. Get your tickets at Eventbrite. There's info on our Facebook, on our Patreon. It's free to attend, but grab your ticket and come on out. Let's have a good time, share some laughs, eat some good food. No Dishes Happy Hour, November 11th, 2025, 4:30 to 6:30. We'll see you there. Welcome to Season 9 of the No Dishes Podcast, presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. They have a wide variety of services. You can find out more at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. I've been seeing them for 5 months, have lost over 50 pounds, but they do so much more than just weight loss. We're so appreciative to them of showing their support for the local restaurant community and highlighting the people that make it go. DJ, spin that track.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. Oh, no dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine for lights and have a good time. No dishes, no dishes.
At the beginning of this year, I was asked to join the board of New Hope for Families. It was a really incredible opportunity. And in that short amount of time, I've been able to see the work that they are doing firsthand. And it's really incredible. But I'm probably not the best person to tell you all about it. So let's talk to the executive director, Emily Pike. Emily, how are you?
I'm great, Jordan. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're in here. It's a little Tuesday evening, long work day. We're like, you know what? Let's just have a little chit chat.
Yeah. I'm down for that. Always.
So for the uninitiated, let's just get right into what is New Hope for Families.
New Hope for Families serves families in our community impacted by homelessness. We do that in two big ways, right? The first is we have a shelter for families. What makes that different is that it's for families as they self-define. So in most of the country, when a family becomes homeless, they have to separate. Men and women separate to different shelters, women and children in one shelter, men in another shelter. In Bloomington, as of 2011, we didn't have a family shelter at all. And so some local folks decided that they wanted to make a difference, and they started a family shelter. And in our shelter, families can come, single moms, single dads, married couples, unmarried couples, same-sex couples, custodial grandparents, doesn't matter to us. If a family is impacted by homelessness, we want them to come and stay at New Hope. The second thing that we do is we offer high-quality, affordable, reliable early learning opportunities for children impacted by homelessness in a mixed-income cohort. Sometimes people want to know, why does that matter? Why do those things go together? And essentially, you wouldn't know it in our community, but on any given night, between 30 and 40% of people impacted by homelessness here in Monroe County are families with children. And a lack of affordable, reliable childcare is a leading cause of family homelessness. And it is a leading impediment to families achieving stability once they've become homeless. So that's who we are. That's what we do. It was a little longer than an elevator ride. I guess maybe hoping that we're at the Empire State Building.
Yeah. We're going up to the 88th floor.
We're doing it. We're going all the way up. There you go.
Well, it's good. I mean, we've talked about, in some of the meetings where it's all about just the case for support. Mm-hmm. And you've said time and time again that, you're fortunate as executive director to have what you consider maybe the most compelling case for support of any nonprofit, which is keeping kids from sleeping outside. So what is it that separates you guys? Because I know there's some statistics on the success rate of New Hope versus the national average that I think is very interesting and shows it's a really good way to just put a number on the amazing work that New Hope does here in Bloomington.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple of things set us apart. The first is, as I said, that keeping the families together. The second is we really come into every single case with the belief that a family can be housed and deserves to be housed. And we didn't kind of always start there, but we've gotten better at it over time. And so as we've gotten better at shelter, we've gotten better at understanding what it takes to help families move through homelessness into stability. And that unconditional positive regard, that's always where it starts. And when we can bring that in a real way, what happens is more families move through. When we can bring an individualized plan to meet families where they are, have them tell us what their strengths are, because they know, have them tell us what they need, because they know, we are more able to move families through. So, in the state of Indiana, on average, over the past 5 years, 31 or 32% of people staying in homeless shelters moved out into stable housing. For the past 5 years at New Hope, that's been 82%.
Wow.
Right? So we're really proud of that. We're really proud of our ability to move people through. We're really proud of saying, hey, look, we are not here to fill shelter beds. That's not success for me. Success for New Hope is emptying shelter beds, right?
Yeah, you're like, we don't want to be full. It's great that we can be there to help those in need, but it'd be nice if there was no demand.
Right. So when someone asks me, what did New Hope do last year? What's your stat? It's never here are the number of shelter nights we provided. It is always here are the number of families we moved through homelessness into stability, and stability that we believe can be lasting.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I just love how you emphasize that we listen to them because they know. Like we're not going to tell them this is what you need to do. I mean, to some degree, you're going to provide the guidance. Sure. And I know there are different situations, but a little over 3 years ago when I did a 10-day stint in rehab, I was very fortunate the place existed and was there. But there was a lot of things about my experience that I wasn't very fond of.
Sure.
And one of those was I didn't feel listened to. I didn't feel like there was an effort to get to understand what my support system was or how really high risk I might have been to, relapse. And so that makes me really happy to hear that because I don't even think we've talked about that much in my time doing board meetings. And there's still so much that I'm excited about today that I don't know about New Hope. So that gives me a chance that I can answer these questions ask these questions I have, and everyone else gets to just listen in.
Well, that's awesome.
So or go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so when we started out, right, so I joined New Hope. I wasn't one of the founders, but I joined in the first year. New Hope was like 8 months old as an agency when I came on board.
What year was that?
I joined in 2012, and the agency started in July of 2011.
Okay.
And I joined in early 2012. And at that time, one of the things that's brilliant about New Hope is that no one who started it, and I mean this in the nicest way, knew what they were doing. And so New Hope got started by 5 community members whom I just adore. And one of them was the then retired CEO of what was then Bloomington Hospital, Bud Core. One was a retired history professor, Jim Riley. A longtime community organizer, Sue Schindel. The only not retired member of the board was Ken Ritchie, who was a VP at Old National at that time. And then Mike Gentile was a retired engineer. And they just decided to do this thing, right? And so they didn't, what they knew was what they wanted to achieve, which was to help families. And they didn't know the how parts about it. And so New Hope has this really, I think it's a brilliant trajectory of starting off a little above average and feeling pretty proud of that. We're hey, we've been nailing this. Yeah. I remember feeling really proud about our 55% success rate Yeah.
Now, when you started, what was your role?
So I started out as an overnight site supervisor.
Okay.
So at that point, there were only 3 of us who worked there. And then really quickly, I moved into doing children's programs. So we, through a partnership with Old National Bank, were able to establish a position. At the beginning, we didn't have any programming for kids at all. And that was really hard because the kids, obviously super impacted by this, needed someone to help them through that time. And so I started, I started doing that probably in the fall of 2012, and then came on full time in January of 2013. so stayed in that role for a couple of years, and then this is like a little tangent. I'm gonna take us down.
I was the one yeah.
I'm gonna take us down a windy road.
Let's go.
So then we had been talking for a while about, gosh, this childcare thing is a bummer. We cannot figure out how to solve this for families. And if you're a person who doesn't have kids, as I know you are, you might not be aware of how stinking expensive childcare is.
Yeah.
It's wild.
When Aaron Biggs, who works alongside me at the Choco Moose, when he first told me how much they spent, and I think I brought it up on here before, and it blows my mind. It's almost, my mortgage isn't cheap.
Yeah.
And it was almost what my mortgage is.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what?
I pay considerably more than my mortgage for
It's
my childcare.
insane. Yeah.
And I get a discount.
Yeah.
So not to brag.
Yeah. Like it still sucks.
It's
even
very
with the discount.
expensive.
Yeah.
I do have twins. So we had been having this conversation about, gosh, what if we could do something about that? And so as the director of children's programming, I was trying to provide some things for kids. Also, I had been finishing up grad school at SPIA for nonprofit management. So I was helping with development, doing a lot of different kinds of things there. And so, because at that point there were two of us who worked there full time. So it was a kind of everybody does everything situation.
Yeah.
And so we had been having these conversations. And then this thing happened, and you maybe have heard me tell this story. One day I came to work and there was a mom in the parking lot with her 4-year-old and her infant. She also had a 7-year-old. He was already on the bus, but the kids were going to an unlicensed home daycare, right? Which means it's not regulated at all. And the day before, the little girl, the 4-year-old, had been bitten badly by a dog. And so mom had to leave work and go and get her and take her to the emergency room to have 17 stitches here in the back of her neck.
Wow.
And obviously it was a terrible experience. And her boss told her, if you are not back here tomorrow, you're fired. Right? Now, we had some leads on housing for this mom. She needed to keep her income. And so the reason I noticed them in the parking lot was this 4-year-old was completely hysterical, right? Because she's terrified to go back.
Of course.
To this unlicensed daycare. And so so that was kind of a catalyzing event for us. That kid did not go back to that unlicensed daycare. She stayed in my office for the day.
That's good.
And,
yes.
And we figured some things out for that family. But that was kind of a catalyzing event for us to start our early learning program. And so beginning in actually 10 years ago this month, October of 2015, we opened our early learning program. And so then from then until 2017, that was my role. I was the director of the early learning program.
You said until 2017?
Until 2017, and
Okay.
that's when I became the executive director.
Okay, so you've got 8 years under your belt as exec.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, creeping right up on it.
That's awesome. So
yeah.
the shelter now, for those that don't know, it's a little south of Cardinal Spirits, off of Grimes. I don't know. Is it called Grimes or Patterson right
I think
there?
it's Grimes right there,
And
yeah.
then is it, I think
Morton.
it turns into Patterson once it hits Rogers.
I think so. It's
Anyway,
unclear to me.
Beside the point.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Right there. Yes, Morton and Grimes / Patterson. But you had this incredible center, shelter, early learning. But you've only had that for a few years. So if you were starting that way back then, what did that look? What did New Hope look like at the time? Was it just a variety of different houses? Because I've seen some pictures of the walls,
That's
like
right, yeah.
this house, that house. What did that look like when you guys implemented the early learning?
Yeah. So when we started, New Hope was in one little house on West 2nd Street. It was the little house that was closest to what was then the hospital, right? We had 3 families at a time there, and we opened that in July of 2011. Fast forward to December of 2012, and that's when we opened a second house to do some more family sheltering. And we were able at that time to lease all of those houses from first Bloomington Hospital, then IU Health Bloomington, for $1 a year. So it was fantastic.
Wow,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So we renovated them with all volunteer labor. So first house, 3 families. It's immediately clear this is not going to do the trick. So we put it's a 3-bedroom house. We put a family in each bedroom and then used the dining room to do case management, where I stuck a desk in there, did case management on the front porch, did case management in my car, whatever.
Wow, yeah.
And so opened the second house the day before Christmas in 2012, sorry. And so the next house that we opened was in the summer of 2015. And then finally, we opened our early learning program in October of 2015, just in a little house that was temporary. And then Memorial Day weekend of 2016, we moved into the space where it would be for the next 6 years, which was a little house on 2nd Street. It was like a 1,300 or so square foot house, and we took care of 16 kids there.
Wow.
And it was a really joyful experience. It was such a delight to build the thing and to get to work with really amazing people. Early learning is something that our community has begun, or at that time had begun, to really take very seriously, thanks to a partnership between the United Way and the Community Foundation called Monroe Smart Start, headed up by a brilliant woman named Jennifer Myers. And so she really helped us get that going. But yeah, so when we started, we were in a temporary spot, but then about 9 months later, we moved into the spot where we'd stay for 6 years. And that was a spot where we were able to achieve national accreditation, which was fantastic. And we're able to really kind of learn about it, right? Because I was a person who was passionate but not skilled, which I'm learning now is kind of maybe a theme for New Hope as I'm telling the story out loud.
Yeah.
We hired people who were skilled. And so that's how it got started. Sorry, I'm really rambling.
No, not at all. This is great. I have all these questions, and I'm sure the listeners / viewers do as well. So at what point, you've gotten to this fairly permanent situation of 6 years, but you're still doing early learning for 16 kids in a 1,300 square foot house. You get to the point where you're like, we need more shelter, we need more space for early learning. How did you get to that, from that point to where you are now with the location that we were just talking about?
Yeah, so actually it happened almost backward from that, which is to say we didn't, although we knew that we could use more space, we did not decide that. We were in those houses that we were leasing from, by then, IU Health Bloomington. And the hospital sold the properties to the city. And the city had other plans for the site. And so they politely let us know that we need to find a different place to be. And so that was when we got started on thinking about what the future of New Hope looked like. And that was it was a really definitive time for the agency, because there were conversations about, okay, should we, there was an opportunity to purchase 3 little houses in Broadview that were pretty close to one another. And we thought about that, right? We can just kind of continue along basically the same lines. And there was an opportunity to partner with the faith community and share their space. There were some other opportunities for various ways to think about making it smaller. And to the eternal credit of the board of directors at the time and some community leaders who came around to help strategize, they said, no, let's build what we need. And so we undertook what's called a feasibility study. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically, if you're a nonprofit and you're going to launch a capital campaign, oftentimes you'll hire a consultant to tell you, oh, a good idea.
Yeah. Or you're in over your head.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so we asked this consultant, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I think we asked her, what is the feasibility of a $2 million capital campaign for this agency in this community, right? At that time, we were like maybe a $250,000 a year agency. And she did it for us. And she came back and she said, hey, I've never told this to anybody before, but do not do this. And we were like, all right.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Yeah. We're like, well,
I'm sure she had your best interest at heart.
Totally.
But still,
yeah. So she was very generous with us and gave us kind of a list of things that we needed to work on. So basically what she said was, listen, people think great things about New Hope in this community to the extent that people know who you are, but ain't nobody heard of you. And that made sense, right? We didn't have any signage at that time. We were helping, a dozen families a year or something like that, a little more perhaps. And so it just, people just didn't know about it. We didn't have any efforts around branding or marketing or awareness. And so I remember, in fact, one time a local media outlet was covering family homelessness, right? And they talked to Forrest Gilmore at Beacon, and they did not call anyone at New Hope. And I was like, oh, it's a problem because they haven't heard of us. They don't know that we're here.
Yeah, they don't even know to reach out to you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And so some of that wasn't news to us. So she gave us a list of things to try. And so that was right about the time that I took on a leadership role of the entire agency. And we began working through that for a year, right? But the board was very dedicated to the idea of, let's do this once and let's build what we need. And so, that would have been, we got that report in December of 2017. And so we began what ended up being, a $6.5 million capital campaign.
Wow.
That ended in moving into these buildings in May and September of 2022. And that really is a tremendous testament to this community, right? And to what this community's values are, because that's why New Hope is still here, is that this community has decided that we don't want children to sleep outdoors.
Yeah, and it's great because you've held up your end of the bargain. You know what I mean? Like, here we are 3 years later, and your success rate has gotten better and better. It's almost 3 times the national average, 2.5 times.
Right, yeah. And
so that's just great to see that, we have faith in you to do something that this community really needs. And you're like, okay, we're gonna do our part. You know? So what is how many kids are you guys able to help, and families are you able to shelter with the current situation?
Yeah, so we can do, depending on the time of year, between 48 and 54 children, based on some licensing guidelines that are pretty boring to go into.
Like, let's go. I'm just kidding.
Well, Jordan,
how much time
when
we got?
Every child is 30 months old. No.
If there's one thing I love talking about, it's license.
Who doesn't? I mean, it's enthralling. I've always been a person who has trouble sleeping, and I got to tell you, licensing guidelines are a real help with that.
Really put you down.
48 to 54 kids in early learning and 12 families at a time in shelter. So in a given year, we are sheltering in-house around 50 families, because families tend to flip about every 90 days.
Okay. Now, being no dishes, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about, what are these kids eating?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. You know what, Jordan? I specifically looked at this today. Today for lunch, my kids had roast chicken, buttered peas, cornbread, and apples.
Oh, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
I know, right? And I'm like eating my leftover soggy rice.
Yeah, you're like, okay, they're doing it right.
I was like, okay, yeah. No, my kids routinely eat better than I do. So we have a fantastically talented chef and nutritional coordinator. Her name's Ash Mann. So shout out to Ash. Can I push the button?
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, no, it died.
Oh no. There we go. Yay for Ash. Ash is a one-woman show, and she prepares about 30,000 meals and snacks for these kids every year. She does a fantastic job. She partners with local growers. She partners with our food bank. She does that on a $30,000 food budget every year. So
these meals are averaging $1.
$1 for a meal or a snack. Yeah, absolutely. And there are guidelines, right? So we have to be following. So we got to be serving milk. We got to be serving a protein. We got to be serving 2 fruits and vegetables. We got to serve a grain. And so, she does a tremendous job. And actually, the other thing that's amazing about it is that she cooks food, and then the children, they eat it.
Yeah.
So that's wild
Like,
for
Jordan,
me.
I don't know if I know you don't have kids, but this is an incredible feat.
I don't know if you've ever met a child.
Yeah. No, never. No kids buy ice cream, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. My kids on the way home from school last night, I told them we were having rice with our stir fry, and both of my kids said, "Yay, rice!" And then we sat down to dinner. They both took the rice off their plates and put it on the table and said, "Mommy, we know yikewise." And I was like, cool.
You're like, do you not remember the car ride?
Do you remember the person on the way home 19 minutes ago? Yeah. They do not.
2-year-olds.
Yeah, 2-year-olds.
And what are you going to do?
Jerks. So
Like,
anyway.
Just your 2-year-olds.
Just
yes.
no.
Not calling any other 2-year-old jerk.
Listen, I know I describe myself as not an expert in early learning, but having spent some years in it, I can tell you a lot of 2-year-olds.
But if you're listening at home, not yours. Yours are perfect.
Not yours. I'm sure yours are great. Listen, I got to tell you, anybody with a 2-year-old, they do already know this.
Oh, yeah. You're like not telling them anything they don't know.
No, it's no.
Are you wanting to move better, feel better, and live better? Look no further than Move Bloomington, where their small group personal training programs are designed to improve strength, balance, and flexibility. With a welcoming environment, their expertly guided workouts can help you feel supported in the life and activities you love in and out of the gym. Whether you're new to exercise, a lifelong athlete, or anywhere in between, their dedication to personalized programming will deliver sessions that meet you where you are. Visit movebloomington.com to learn more and get started today. Your family will have a blast at Constellation Stage and Screen's upcoming musical, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, on stage November 1st through the 16th at the Waldron Auditorium. Join Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the whole Peanuts gang. This timeless classic brings the beloved comic strip to life with laugh-out-loud moments, memorable songs, and a big dose of charm. It's truly fun for all ages. See You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, on stage November 1st through the 16th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. I've been using WaterTech pools for all of my pool and hot tub needs for 2 seasons now, and cannot recommend them highly enough. Jason, Brian, and their entire team are incredibly knowledgeable and can help you with your next pool installation, closing or opening, or just helping you maintain your chemicals and cleanliness throughout the year. They even do custom stainless steel pools. Learn more at that's JAYS, watertechpools.com.
They're just adorable, and so it's all forgiven.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
They're perfect in
one
other
second
ways.
they're a jerk, the next second you're like, how could I stay mad at you?
Well, because they're saying they don't like it, but they're also saying it's Weiss.
You're right.
So, you just do roll with it.
Yeah.
And
really.
anyway, one of the kids did eat the rice in the long run. The other one didn't. Yeah. Yay! But anyway, back to Ash. She does this fantastic job. She also, a previous nutritional coordinator named Polly Waldketter, developed a program that we call Plot to Tot, where the kids get to do a little bit of food growing. I think we initially conceived of it that some of that produce would make it into the kitchen and Ash or Holly would use it to cook. That hasn't largely turned out to be true. Mostly gets eaten in the yard.
But it's getting eaten.
Oh, yeah. Or
and
like
they're growing
dropped
it.
on the way. Like, I don't know. Last summer, I remember like seeing them walk back from Switchyard Park and they had like 5 grape tomatoes. And they're like, we're taking it to the kitchen. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Sure,
yeah,
yes.
do it.
This is great. Everyone's going to have a little
But
slither
they're all just
in
like
their lunch.
snacking on it on the way over.
Can we just really quick give credit to that name?
Oh, yeah.
Plot to Tot.
It's
That's
good,
incredible.
right? Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I think Holly came up with that. But so that's spectacular. And then, the other thing that's great about it is the kids are like learning about the plants, learning about the food. And so like oftentimes we don't get as much food as we thought because they picked it when it was a flower.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll never forget. I'm going to tell a story. I never forget. I think it must have been the 3rd year that we did Plot to Tot. So it was probably summer 2018 or maybe summer 2019. But I had kids and they had been trying for 3 years to grow pumpkins. Not for eating, but just for fun, right? And they could not stop picking the pumpkins when they were this big or picking the flowers or whatever. And they finally, that year, got a pumpkin. And they, they all really were focused on like, okay, we're going to keep it. We're not going to pick it. Nobody touch it, and they named it.
Oh.
And they named it after their favorite volunteer at that time, who was a high school student. Her name was Ella. And so they named the pumpkin Ella, which was fantastic. And so finally we get to the point where we're picking the pumpkin and we're going to bring it inside for the kids to carve it and see what's inside. You get to play with the guts and whatever.
Yeah.
Which is an activity we do every year to learn about the seeds. But they, all the kids steadfastly refused. We could not cut this pumpkin. This was Ella. What am I, a sociopath?
Right? Come on. Yeah, it's got a
honestly.
name.
Yes,
for,
we have.
For
what
Christ's
are you talking
sake,
about? Yeah.
A personality.
Yes, Ella. We have protected Ella carefully. We have played tag around Ella. No one's allowed to step on her. And you're saying we should just cut her up?
Yeah, slice her and dice her.
Call me
What
Dexter,
is this?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, they were onto me.
So what would you do? Just put it on a shelf or give
Ella
it a
just
seat?
rotted outside.
Is that really what Ella would have wanted?
I don't know.
I know.
The kids are the ones who get to,
Did you
I don't know.
Did you go buy a pumpkin to cut into that they could look?
Yes, we got a different pumpkin
That's
for
good.
them. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, they like to learn about the seeds, and they like, little kids love a sensory experience.
Oh,
right? So
yeah,
like
yeah.
to
That's all
touch it
slimy and
they
yeah.
like to get to use a knife,
Yeah.
So that's exciting. For
God,
them
you got a
too.
couple kids who are like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't get them to it because they're just really going to town on that pumpkin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So New Hope has 2 main events that they do every year.
That's right.
One of them is coming up.
That's
the,
right,
The
yes.
tree event. So
Absolutely.
I'd be remiss if we didn't get to talk about the tree event while we had you here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tree event, super exciting. Hope for the holidays. Let's see about this. This is our 7th time to do Hope for the Holidays.
I love it.
Hope for the Holidays, Switchyard Pavilion. We turned it into a winter wonderland. We have dozens of uniquely decorated Christmas trees, right? And they'll be themed. Local businesses, local philanthropic groups decorate them and donate them. And they're super fun. So you'll see everything from a Harry Potter tree to a Black Panther tree to a champagne themed tree to a Barbie tree. One year we had an upside down tree that the staff at Tassus did.
Nice. Okay.
So that was pretty impressive. John Bethel Title outdoes itself every year with this spectacular over-the-top tree. Who are other heavy hitters? St. Thomas Lutheran Church always does an amazing tree. Now I'm regretting starting this list because I'm forgetting
they're
people,
like,
right?
well, then I'm going to lead off so-and-so.
I'm a
Yeah, you're all
spectacular
good. Garrett, can you pull up the Hope for the Holidays tree event? See if we can, that way we can just throw that on the screen. It might, maybe just a quick goog.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Haha. Look at
Hope
that.
for the holidays.
November 17th through 19th. I was hoping you knew the dates because I was like,
Yes.
I have it on my calendar and I knew, I was like, it's the 2nd or 3rd week in November. I
That's
knew
right,
that.
yes.
I knew it was Switchyard Park.
Yep. So it always is the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, this is a contentious thing. Some people believe very strongly that you must set up your Christmas tree before Thanksgiving.
What?
Others believe that you may not.
I'm firmly in the camp of you do it the day after.
Day after Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
okay.
Or maybe even if you're all with your family and you're bored and you're all sitting around watching football.
Right, like
the
on
night of
Thanksgiving Day.
Like,
Okay,
let's
got
put
it.
up
In
the
the
tree.
evening, right.
That's fun.
So you're having a turkey sandwich,
Yes,
decorating your
exactly.
tree. Got it, okay.
Yeah.
And then there are the Mark Cruzans of the world who believe that Christmas starts the day after Halloween.
Interesting.
And that is November 1st.
Does Mark not celebrate Thanksgiving?
Mark does celebrate Thanksgiving, but Mark at all times has a countdown on his phone telling you how many days until Christmas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as I understand it, that was a compromise in his marriage that he must wait until November 1.
Okay, so that's him exercising self-control. And
Yeah,
doing
no,
well.
as I understand it, this is secondhand
Interesting.
information.
Yeah. Former mayor.
Some
Mark
of it,
Kazan.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, former Mayor Kazan. I've seen the countdown though, so that's for sure real.
Yeah. You're like, I know he's not making it up.
Yeah, no, he showed that to me just a couple of weeks ago.
I love that. So this is 3 days. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Doors open to the public at 6, at 4, at 4. So you raise money through people bidding on these trees to then take them home.
That's right. So for the first 2 nights, you can buy a tree. There's a price tag on it. It's a buy it now price, right? And so you can say, hey, I want this tree that's covered in bourbon.
Give it to me.
And yeah, absolutely. And so you'll pay the sticker price and take it home.
And you take it home right then. You don't have to wait till the end of the event?
You wait till the end of the event,
Okay.
and then you take it home.
Okay.
But we'll mark it as sold.
Okay.
And in general, about a third of the trees sell on the first night.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
So get there Monday night.
So get there Monday night. Have a look. See what you're going to do. And you can buy trees like that for the first night, the second night, and the first couple of hours of the third night.
Okay.
On the third night, any trees that are left, which tends to be about a third of the trees,
Okay.
go to auction.
Nice.
And so you can take your chances if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. The Pike family, long history of running an auction company.
Interesting. No, I did not know
and
that.
And so I can tell you this. This is the thing. Everyone, if you've ever been at an auction, you ought to know there are no friends at an auction.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you want the same thing, there are only enemies in the room.
Yeah. Gloves off.
Yeah. And so it's always been fun. It's always been a little contentious in a fun way. But it's a great way to make sure that all the trees go. And what's spectacular about it is you've got a couple of options. You can buy a tree, take it home, set it up, and have it. I have one in my home that I love. And you could also buy a tree for your business. We've had several local businesses buy one, set it up. We'll give you a little plaque that says, hey, this tree was purchased to support Homes for All Families this holiday season.
Awesome.
A little New Hope logo on it. Or you can purchase one and give it to one of our families. So last year, we had 37 families move out of shelter into stable housing. And all of those families, or the vast majority of those families, would like to have a Christmas tree in their new home.
Of course, yeah.
And so you can buy one and say, okay, I want to give this to a kid who is spending their first Christmas in their stable home.
Wow.
Which is a pretty exciting thing to do.
That's so awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so
a
much
cool
I
one.
didn't know about this. And that's why I'm loving this. It's so awesome.
It's really
for
cool.
me.
And you can even go through and pick which family is going to get it, right? So you can pick the IU basketball tickets themed tree and give it to a single dad with 4 boys.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Not that only boys can like basketball.
Well, yeah. But point taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can pick the Candyland tree and give it to the family with a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. You can pick, those sorts of things. And it's a lot of fun to do that. And there are some, our community has come up with a lot of really fun trees over the years that are really nice to be able to donate. And some of them are massive, right? Would never fit in my home, certainly. Would fit in some people's homes, perhaps, but are great to put in the lobby of your bank.
There
or,
you go.
Or that sort
Looking
of thing.
at you, Banks.
Right,
Get
there
out
you go.
there
Come
and
on,
buy
Banks,
it.
buy a tree. Speaking of banks, I'd be remiss if I didn't say IU Credit Union is the presenting of the sponsor of this event and has been for 3 years.
Fantastic.
And they're a tremendous partner to us.
I love that. They helped us out with Taste, too. They were
Yeah,
a
they're
good sponsor on
spectacular.
that. So
Yeah.
shout out to IU Credit Union.
Yeah, well, they started a credit union and created a community.
Yeah.
So they did it, yeah.
So I've heard.
So they nailed it. Yeah, well done.
That's the word around town.
It is the word around town. No, we are really big fans of IU Credit Union, and they are super invested in this mission. It's one of the amazing things about having a local credit union, right? Is that, you just have local buy-in, and it's really nice.
I love that. And I know, I don't know if any of this has been put out there yet or if we're allowed to talk about it. But I know one night they talked about having a kids choir is going to be there on
That's
Wednesday
right.
night.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We're going to bring by some ice cream, and there's all these different
That's
other
right.
organizations that are bringing stuff by to help make it even more of an event.
I should have checked on the details before I came, but I'm pretty sure Tuesday night is kids' night. So Santa's going to be there with Mrs. Claus. That'll be exciting. Chocolate Mousse is showing up with some ice cream. We're going to have cookies every night. There's a kids choir, I think from Sherwood Oaks. The kids choir is coming. There might be one
Did
other
I hear the
thing.
Santa's the same one from the Fountain Square Mall?
It is.
Yes,
Yes,
so
it is.
We're talking a high-level Santa.
This is a high-level Santa. Oh, yeah.
High-level Santa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is not Jordan with a fake beard, okay? This is a real white beard.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't think I could change my laugh to do the Santa laugh. They would be like, oh, that's what's Jordan Davis doing with a fake white beard.
Yeah, that's fair. My kids are both terrified of Santa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I trust kids that are terrified of Santa. That's good. They have good instincts.
My little guy insists that Santa, after being talked into it by his sister, he says that Santa may come to our house to bring presents, but he should leave them on the porch.
That's good. He's a smart kid.
Yeah, well, he finds Santa loud and overly familiar. Okay. He's like, listen, I don't even know you, bro. And you're like, come sit on my lap.
Right. Yeah, it's like, let's have coffee maybe.
Honestly,
let me hear your story.
Let's lead up to this. Yeah, I don't know.
When I was growing up, I'm a preacher's kid. very religious
I
family.
didn't know that about you.
Really? Yeah, this is great. There's so
What
much we don't know.
denomination?
Well, so when we first moved to Indiana when I was 4, it was a Methodist church.
Okay.
Then went to Presbyterian.
Okay.
And then non-denominational after that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just progressively more conservative.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. It was interesting, but my mom, like we had like the stories with Santa and all this, but
Sure.
I don't know if any of us ever really like believed in Santa
Sure.
because it was never really presented to us that way. Because my mom would write on our Christmas presents from Jesus.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I feel you.
So
I did grow up in a family where we sometimes made a happy birthday Jesus cake.
Oh,
for Christmas
okay.
Eve.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. It was never lost on us what we were celebrating.
There you go.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was, and that just reminded me of like, it's kind of funny thinking back on it. Like from Jesus, like, oh, thanks, Jesus.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't see you at the mall. I didn't tell him what I wanted.
Yeah, no, but you know what? It's for the best. I don't know. I have a friend who recently had a baby, and they have a 2.5-year-old. And when they brought the baby home from the hospital, they also brought a Hot Wheels car, the kind that you can drive, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And gave it to the older child and said that it was from her new baby sister.
I love it. Like, how'd that child get money?
Look, baby sister brought you this,
Yeah.
which is like, really like setting a solid foundation for that relationship,
Well,
which
it's
I
good.
feel like was what your mom was doing with Jesus. Like,
No, that's true.
He's looking out for you.
Jesus
You're going to like
gives
this
you
guy.
gifts that you want. He
That's
gives you
right.
Power Ranger action figures.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's someone I want to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, New Hope for Families, Hope for the Holidays, tree event or tree festival at Switchyard Pavilion. Garrett, can you scroll down just a tad for me? Boom, November 17th through 19th.
There we go.
So yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a great time. Over 50 unique and festive holiday trees. Season 9 of the No Dishes podcast is presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health. I've been seeing them for the past 5 months and have lost over 50 pounds using tirzepatide. But they do so much more than just weight loss. Whether you're suffering from fatigue, loss of motivation, poor sleep, or other wellness concerns, Game Day Men's Health can help. Check out GameDayMen'sHealth.com today to schedule your free testosterone test and consultation to get yourself back in the game. Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. And then you got the gala in the spring?
That's right. Yeah. Got the gala in the spring. And both of those things go to support the mission, right? And, we talked about, the two kind of pillars of our mission. But if we've got a second, the other thing that we do at New Hope that maybe some people don't know as much is that, we started out as this agency that was doing shelter. Right. And if you think of an analogy, emergency shelter is like the emergency room at the hospital, right? Something terrible has happened.
Right.
And we're going to be here and we're going to respond to that. And that's what shelter does. Shelter responds to emergencies. And we are, very good at it. It's something I'm proud of. But it's not something you ever get to 100% at, right? And so for a while, New Hope was like, gosh, we are proud to do this well, but we want to do more.
Yeah.
And so we began to offer really intentional prevention and diversion services for families. And so on any given night, we've got 12 families in our family shelter, but we've probably got 60 or 70 families that we're working with to prevent homelessness, right? So in an average year, we're seeing as many as 150 families in prevention. And 80% of those families never make it to shelter. And so that's like a really exciting thing that's new-ish for New Hope, right, in the past 3 or 4 years. And we've just in the past year and a half really begun to track those numbers to try to understand what the impact is. And so recognizing that those families don't come to shelter is huge. First of all, like the emergency room, shelter is very expensive, right? It just is. You got to have a staff, you got to have a facility. By the time people get to you, they are likely to have lost many of their belongings. Many of them have had a hard time maintaining employment. About half of people come to us employed, but even those are sometimes underemployed because they've been unstable. And so being able to help families prevent that homelessness is something that we're really passionate about. And then the other thing that we're doing is to work with families once they've left shelter. So we offer follow-up support for a period of up to 3 years.
Wow.
And so that's a really exciting thing. And so those two things together are kind of, what the future looks like for New Hope, when we think about what that is. And I think it's important that the community understand that because shelter is a really simple idea, right? Prevention and diversion and follow-up, those are more complicated, but they are the things that will in some ways begin to move the needle, right? This summer, we had, 80% of families in prevention and outreach don't come to us, which is great, right? But sometimes they still do. But when they do, they're with us for a shorter period of time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we had 3 families this summer who stayed with us for 15 days or less, right?
Wow.
And that's because they all, at least 2 of them, already had leases when they came. They were just waiting for an inspection, right? So they had exhausted everything else, but they moved in for 8 days. And that's important for a couple of reasons. The first is obviously we want to make good use of our community's limited resource, which is the number of units we have for family shelter. But the second is when we think about the long-term impact of homelessness on children, the number one indicator of that impact in the long run is simply the duration of homelessness, right? And that makes sense. So those kids who came here this summer for 8 days, it's a part of their story. It's a thing that happened to them. But it's really different from a kid here who lives at our shelter for his whole 3rd grade year, right?
Right.
So we're not looking for that.
Yeah,
right?
it's more of a blip on the radar when they look back at their life.
Exactly.
I was there for a week.
Right. That was a weird thing that happened.
Yeah, not
right.
nearly as formative. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so we're looking to do that. And then we're looking to make sure that we make sure that stability is sticky, right? We want to make sure that families are able to stay there.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So we want it to be sticky, and we want it to be, we want families to be able, in the time following a stay in shelter, to be able to move on to the other things. One of the things we say sometimes is that families aren't defined by homelessness, right? A homelessness it's a time-bound thing. For the vast majority of people who experience homelessness, it's a thing that happens and then it never happens again. And then when you move through it into stability, you get to move on to the things that do define you, which is the work you choose to do and the kind of neighbor you choose to be and the way you raise your children, and how you are to the people around you, right? Those are the things that define us. And so being able to do that for families after they move out is a really impactful thing. And all of that, of course, supported by excellent early learning opportunities for kids in our community. And so these events, they make up, between the 2 of them, almost 10% of our budget.
Wow.
So
Just
it's not
2,
a small thing.
Yeah, that's massive.
Mm-hmm. And so they support what is essentially an opportunity for families to start over and to be the kind of family that they want for themselves. Does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah, 100%. One, it's like, there could be a lot of negativity in the community around people experiencing homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
But, with what New Hope does, it's so unique, is like, you're really helping. And a lot of people I know fall into these hard times, sometimes at no fault of their own.
Sure.
But regardless of any of that, it's never these kids' fault.
Right.
They're always just along for the ride, so to speak. And
That's right.
The fact that you can be there to hopefully not have it be such this big thing in their life as they're 35 years old and they were homeless for all this time and it's still affecting who they are as a person
right.
decades later,
right.
Is huge. And I know when we had Forrest on the podcast, probably it's been like 2 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
if you can help someone before they get evicted,
That's
or
right.
if you can help them before they get to this moment of crisis, how much kind of easier that is, and less expensive.
Way less expensive.
So, with Forest and Beacon and all these other organizations, how do you guys collaborate? How do you work together? Because obviously it's an issue in our city that isn't just going to go away overnight. There's
right.
a lot of people that need help. A lot of them, again, at no fault of their own.
Sure.
And Forrest and I got to talk about a lot of the stigma or the misinformation about what leads people to be in these situations. Can you talk a little bit about your collaboration with these other organizations in town, and then what you've seen firsthand as far as what leads people to be in these situations?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're proud to collaborate with a lot of agencies in town. So we work closely with Middleway House when we have families who are impacted by domestic violence. We work collaboratively with Beacon in a program called Rapid Rehousing that helps fund deposit first month rent for families impacted by homelessness. We work very closely with Hoosier Hills Food Bank to help Ash in our kitchen do those 30,000 meals and snacks.
Check out Hoosier. Oh, I don't think this episode's going to come out in time. I was going to say Hoosier Hills Food Bank Book Fair coming up, but it's next week. So
dang.
Hope you had fun if you went.
Yeah, I bet it was great.
I was trying to get you a plug, Jake.
So they're fantastic. We're really thrilled to partner with them. A lot of agencies. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is a big one for us. SCAP is a big one. But essentially what I think we do really well in this community is work not to duplicate services, right? So, sometimes people say to me, hey, don't you basically do the same thing? And no shade, they don't know, but I'm able to say, no, actually, we don't.
Right.
We do collaborate, but there is no one else who's doing family shelter, right? Middleway serves people with children if they're impacted by domestic violence. But domestic violence shelter is a different animal. And I don't know if you've had a chance to talk with Carrie, but you should. They do spectacular work there.
We've done a lot. So I haven't done a Middleway episode of the podcast, which I absolutely should. So thank you for bringing that up. But they're our neighbor at the Chocolate Moose. So we've worked closely with them on so much over the years as far as whatever we can do to help support their mission.
Yeah.
But yes, I should take the time to have them as a guest.
Well, I know she's got like 700 things going on too. So you'll get her scheduled 3 years from now.
Yeah, there we go.
But she's a go-getter. The so working collaboratively is something that we think is really important, because when people give us their dollars to help fix this problem, to help respond to this problem, we take that really seriously, right? So the promise that we make back is that we will do everything in our power for best and highest use for those dollars, right? The reason people give New Hope money to respond to homelessness is that they can't do it on their own. That's our contract with the community, right? Is that we are going to fulfill the values our community has set out for itself. And so for me, that's the reason to collaborate, right? Is that we want to make sure every dollar in our community goes as far as it can. So sometimes someone will say to me, well, do you do substance use counseling or medically assisted treatment, or do you do, these sorts of things on site? And I say, no, man, I can tell you 6 places in town who do. Right. And so why would I do that?
Exactly.
And so we are looking for ways to work with things that are already there, not to reinvent the wheel. So at New Hope, we do housing, we do early learning, and we work closely with other people to fill in the other gaps around that. Second part of your question was, why do families become homeless?
Yeah, and just your experience.
Yeah.
What do you kind of see that, because obviously with what you do, it's focusing on families. So Forrest's answer might be a little different than yours.
I will say this. The number one reason, here's a way to think about it. My colleague Chase Teckenton says this really well. If you want to know why a family is homeless, why any family is homeless, there will be a long answer to that question. It will involve broken relationships. It will involve health issues. It will involve generational trauma. It will involve cascading failures in systems that are not designed to help people. It'll be a long story, and it'll be different from any other story you've heard, because people are different from one another. But if you want to know why so many people are homeless, the answer is housing. The answer is housing and affordability, right? So we have this idea that, to take the opioid epidemic, for example, right? During that time, we became aware that a tremendous number of people in this country had become addicted to opioid pain medication, right? And a lot of people believe that a substance use disorder is a primary cause of homelessness. And it might be a proximal cause for some people, but if you looked at a map of the United States for places where the opioid epidemic hit hardest, and you looked at a map of the United States that showed you where homelessness was the worst, those maps would overlap almost not at all, right? And that's because the opioid epidemic hit hardest in places that were rural and that were poor, where housing was already affordable, right? And so what I'm saying is that when you are already spending too much on your rent, too much on your mortgage, mostly rent if you're experiencing homelessness, and we know that 60% of renters in this town are, right? According to an ROI study. What that means is your budget is spread too thin because we have too many people paying half of their income, more than half of their income, to be housed. And so when a tiny bump of any kind happens, there are catastrophic consequences, right? You can't recover from that. So I am fortunate that when I have an unexpected car repair, for example, right, I can figure that out, right? I have enough room in my budget. I have enough room on my credit card if necessary, right, to take care of those things. If I were already in a place where every dollar was spoken for, right, I can't just say, oh gosh, I guess I'm not going to get takeout from Samira tonight. I'm going to have to do this other thing instead. So the problem is across our nation, we are experiencing a tremendous uptick in housing and affordability. And that keeps families and that keeps individuals from being able to experience normal setbacks and recover. So millions and millions of people in this country are impacted by substance use disorder. Millions more people are impacted by a mental health problem, right? Sometimes when I'm talking to groups, I just ask for a show of hands. Do you know anybody impacted by substance use disorder? Yeah. Do they come to your Thanksgiving? Maybe. And I think most of us do, right? And ditto mental health problems. I love that we're being more open and honest about that these days. The vast majority of those people are not homeless.
Right.
Right. So what happened was they had a substance use problem, or they had a mental health problem, or they had a physical health problem, or they had a baby in the heartbreaking turn of events, right? That is the catalyst for many families who become homeless, is that babies are crazy expensive.
Not cheap?
Not cheap. Never going to retire, Jordan.
Yeah. You're like, and you got two.
That's right. And it's, and so, my GoFundMe is, no.
Yeah.
So it's not that substance use isn't a factor. It's not that mental health isn't a factor. It's not that poor job training isn't a factor. It is that all of those things have to exist with something else in order to make it a problem, right? And I think when we say X percent of people experiencing homelessness are impacted by a mental health problem, we sometimes believe that means it's causative, right? Or causal, not causative. I don't think that's a word.
I understood what you meant. Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I read this blogger recently, though, who said, a very high percentage of people who are enrolled in college are binge drinkers. Nobody thinks,
yes,
right, that binge drinking is what made them in college.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's such a great example. Yes. There's something where it's like causation doesn't
exactly.
correlate. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Correlation's not causation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm super smart. I'm a simple ice cream man.
You got it. Hey.
So what can people do to help? we talked about the events.
Yeah, come to the events.
But what are ways, because that's only twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone's like hearing everything you're saying and it's very compelling. I'm learning so much and I've sat in on 7 or 8 board meetings by now, and I'm still learning more and more about what New Hope is doing and what causes the issues and all of the different things that are being done other than just shelter and the early learning, which is still a huge undertaking in and of itself. What are steps people could take to either help New Hope or other organizations within the community?
Yeah, so you can share your time. You can volunteer. If you go to our website, there's a link. It's very easy. Our website is newhope4families.org. Excuse me, you can go there and we'll get you connected to a volunteer opportunity that fits your skill set and your time availability. You can advocate in our community. You can advocate with policymakers for policies that support this kind of work. Right now, early learning is really under attack. We are at a moment in the state of Indiana where we're really thinking about going backwards.
Right.
Last year, Early Learning Indiana surveyed early learning providers and found that 19% had closed a classroom and that 12% believed that it was likely they would close their doors in the next 12 months due to these recent funding changes. So you can be an advocate with your policymakers about saying this is important for all children. You can be an advocate for funding for affordable housing. That is certainly something that is at risk all the time, and it's something that we know makes the difference. Families who exit shelter into a subsidy are dramatically more likely to have sticky success. And the vast majority of families outgrow those subsidies, which is just what we want them to do.
That's great.
So you can do that. You can also make a gift, right? You can, sometimes we think, oh gosh, if I can't give $10,000, it doesn't matter. You can give $5 a month. You can give $10 a month. You can give $25 a month. If you've got $10,000, please go ahead.
Yeah, here's my email.
Absolutely.
To put you in touch with Emily.
There you go. Thanks, Jordan. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing any chocolate mousse capital campaigns.
That's right.
We're
Okay,
good.
all right, fair enough. Yeah. So I think, everybody can be a part of solving this problem. I think it is often the case when you look at a problem that is as huge and hairy and complex as homelessness, you just look at it and you say, oh my God, I can't. And then you just go home and watch Netflix because you don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah. And so you got a nice comforting bowl of chocolate mousse ice cream and try to make it through the next day.
Right.
But what you can do is literally anything.
Yes.
Do anything at all to help. And it'll make you feel better, right? And also it's how this works, right? It's the reason we have a New Hope is because 5 people who knew nothing about social services, nothing about homelessness, knew a lot about this community, decided to do a thing. And I think that's something that I try never to forget, because when you're battling something like this every day, it feels like, man, are we even making any progress?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, when there's all these outside factors too that can be working against you. And
right.
You're like, we're making progress, but this is all going back this way. And you're like, shit. Like,
right.
It just seems like an uphill battle sometimes, I'm sure. The No Dishes podcast is brought to you by visitbloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town.
Yeah. And so the worst thing you can do is nothing, right? The worst thing you can do is pretend it's not happening or look the other way or be angry at the people who are hurting from it. And so what you can do is choose a thing and make a gift of time or of talent or of treasure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
When I love the recurring gifts. Everyone's used to like, I pay $10 a month for Netflix.
Sure.
Can
I borrow your password?
Well, yeah. You're like, on that note, actually, I don't pay $10.
By the way, no.
On that note, yeah, if you want, I'll give you my Netflix password. Cancel your Netflix subscription. Do $10, $15 a month
right. There you
to
go.
New Hope instead.
I like this. This is how we're going to crowdsource it.
Yeah, this is good.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I hope we have the unlimited screens.
I'll bring that up in the next board meeting.
Okay,
Guys,
thanks,
hear me
I
out.
appreciate that.
Netflix
Yeah,
password
exactly.
sharing. They're like, who invited this guy? No, it's amazing work that you guys are doing. It's been really cool opportunity for me to really just try to be a sponge and soak up everything I can about it and then help where I can. And I think as time moves on, I'll have more opportunities, but it's really good to get that understanding about the ins and outs of everything that New Hope does. Cause there's so much going on. It's straightforward, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much that goes into it. And when I had Mayor Thompson on the podcast before she even started serving,
Sure.
she had won the Democratic nomination, but like we were talking about this for quite a while, and she's like, "Yeah, there's no silver bullet. There's no quick fix," and it's so easy to get caught up in the negativity. And I talk about this all the time, but like there are people like New Hope and like Emily and Forrest and Beacon and that are doing a lot that are making it better and trying to be a solution. And so I think channel that energy you have of frustration or whatever it might be.
Yes.
If it's misguided or if it's founded, you know, and try to, like you said, volunteer your time, your talents, your money, whatever you can to try to be part of the solution instead of just writing a angry Facebook comment, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, and also like, you know, I want to be fair. Like there, you know, businesses are impacted by this problem too.
Very
right?
much so.
And so like, and I know you know that.
100%. Yeah. We're right there.
You are right there in it. And so, you know, it is to everyone's benefit to solve this. Right. And it's not, you know, if you're angry about it, I'm not trying to vilify you, right? Like it's okay to be angry about it. I'm angry about it. And if we can figure out a way to come together on some constructive things, you know, I think, Jordan, you're a great example of this, right? So when we said, hey, would you think about helping us out? You said, yeah, you know, took one conversation. And
I'm a hard sell.
Yeah. I got a free soda out of it. It was spectacular.
You're like, whoa, we should be bringing him free soda.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't even have a soda fountain in my office. It's really sad.
I'm spoiled.
Yeah. What was, you know, one thing that I think I always like to ask people is what was your big why? So what made you say yes? I mean, I'm sure, you know, there are a lot of things to say yes to in this community.
Right.
Lord knows you say yes to a lot already.
Yeah, I might
right? You're like the busiest
no.
guy in this town. Yeah. I have a friend who says your dictionary goes straight from M to P, you know, you got no N-O in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a good one. Hey-o.
I'm still learning the alphabet. Thanks for breaking that down for her. I'm like, huh?
Spell it out. But what's your big why? Why did you say yes to New Hope?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was just like an honor, and I was surprised to even be asked. And that's how it's been for a lot of things, particularly this year for me, where I'm like, why? I don't know. I feel like I've been.
I don't know. I'm getting all these awards.
No, well, you got one too. You can't do that to me. Emily got honored at the Bloom Magazine Award. Anyway, beside the point.
But I'm not under 40 anymore, so.
What a news to me. Yeah. But no, it was just, you know, I've been very fortunate to where I've been involved with the West Foundation, which is my mom's side of the family foundation that does a lot of funding to help international humanitarian projects.
It's amazing.
Really cool. I serve on the board with my two older sisters. They both have a lot of experience in the nonprofit world. That's been a cool experience for me over the last 5-6 years. Then I've been on the Visit Bloomington board, and that's been a really cool experience. Just all the work that Visit Bloomington does behind the scenes. They've been our presenting sponsor of the podcast for a long time. There's so much stuff that they just support that people don't know, and that's cool, but it's really business related. It's tourism. New Hope was an opportunity for me to see the ins and outs of a nonprofit within our community, which is something I had not had an opportunity for. And that's something that I just wanted to know about. And, you know, I think everyone should make an effort to have an understanding and educate themselves on these issues in our community and beyond before speaking on them.
Yeah.
It's so often people are speaking about stuff they have no idea about. Yeah. And I'm guilty of it sometimes too.
Sure.
And I try to check myself and be like, you know what, maybe I should just shut my trap. do some legit research, not do your own research, but like, whoa, wait a second.
Whoa.
Yeah. But no, it seemed like an incredible opportunity. I felt fortunate to even be asked. And of the 3 boards I'm on, the New Hope one is by far the most active. And nothing, it's not shade against West Foundation or Visit Bloomington.
Sure.
Every organization has something that they need from the board, or they just need to be held accountable. And maybe that's it, or they got input on this or that. New Hope asked their board members to be incredibly active and do a lot of different things to help their mission continue, that's been a whole nother experience. But I'm hoping to even get a chance to, I haven't even stepped foot in the shelter yet, or there's all these things that I'm still learning, like I've said throughout this podcast, about New Hope, and including today, which has just been so fun and so rewarding for me. So it's helping others. And if there's something or a connection I have or a skill that I have that can benefit New Hope, that's awesome. And then if you want to look at it from a selfish standpoint, like I'm feeling very fulfilled, and like it's a cool experience. So that's the long-winded answer to my why.
No, I love that. And I love to hear that you're feeling fulfilled, because I think, people sometimes are like, oh, Emily, I can't believe you do this work. That's so amazing. And I am just sitting here like, I can't believe I get paid to do this thing. Right? Like, you're going to say that. But like, I love doing this work, and dozens and dozens and hundreds of people volunteer at New Hope and get paid nothing. Like, you're like doing this thing and sharing your expertise, and I get a paycheck for it, and so I think it is, remarkable how much giving back is rewarding, right? Because you do feel like you're making a change.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just, again, if you want to look at it from a selfish standpoint, you're getting an understanding of what's going on in our community. It helps you have more empathy. I think the biggest thing where a lot of the negativity is rooted in, when people are like, oh, Seminary Park or this or that, I think an overarching theme is people are like, well, it's their fault. Yeah. Like they're, you know what I mean? Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of empathy. And I think that's what the root issue is when it comes to the perception. Right. Is just people just being like, oh, well, they should have gotten their shit together. They shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. Right. I fell on, my hard times that I alluded to, and would not be where I am today if it wasn't for having strong family and friend support. That's amazing. A lot of people don't have that. Right. And so it's like, I could have been this close from just because I'm fortunate to have that. There's a lot of people that just don't have that at no fault of their own that has led them to where they are today. And God forbid they need a little bit of help. Yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't have the humility to say, hey, I've been close, or I've struggled, or, because it can feel like, it can feel isolating, right? To say, oh gosh, maybe people won't accept me. Maybe they won't like me anymore. Maybe they'll, right. They'll feel some kind of way about my past, or, but man, I'm such a big believer that like, the more honest we can be, the more connected we get to be. Absolutely. Right? Yeah. How many of us have been paycheck to paycheck, or are still paycheck to paycheck? Still figuring it out. We're getting there. You're not 40 yet. You're fine. Yeah. I don't know if I should admit that I'm still paying. Yeah. I got it. I'm covered. I'm doing great. That's fine. Listen, we're millennials. No one expects more from us. Right. Okay. Yeah. It's like I bought a house. All right. That's right. I feel that's exactly. My thing. Yeah. But no, it's just, I think it's good to continue for everyone to have perspective, have empathy for one another, and think how close a lot of us could have been, or if we never got close, what has happened in our life that has kept us from being that way because of just who we happen to be born to, or where we happen to be born, and all of that fun stuff. You want to talk food? Let's talk food. I was like, we got to end with some food. Absolutely, we do. Come on. All right, let's do this. You get Mama's night out. You don't have the kids. Yes. We're painting the scene here. You get to go out and have dinner. Yes. Maybe you're getting your girlfriends all together. Yeah, like, hey, let's absolutely. Go have some drinks. Where are you going? Ooh, okay. For drinks, where am I? Jordan, it has been so long since I went out for drinks. I'm like, where did we go in grad school? I like to, I like to lead out with the thing that you haven't done in forever. Yeah, exactly. You're thanks for reminding me that I have no social life anymore. So
In the day, we used to like a back door for a drink.
Okay, nice.
An Atlas for a drink. Nowadays, I'm probably more likely to be at the Uptown Bar.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Because I'm also probably having a drink,
Instead, yeah.
Not leaning into the night.
And you're sipping on them.
That's right.
Not
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. At the Bloom Gala, I did have 2 glasses of champagne. And by 9 o'clock, I had a headache and was very tired.
Doesn't getting old suck.
I know. I was like, this is
Come
very
on.
lame. I am celebrating. I'm a babysitter.
Yeah, you're like, I used to get after it.
I know. I'm very old, as we've now discussed.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not far behind.
Yeah,
so.
it's So I guess drinks is a little still foreign to me, but I like a basil gimlet at the Uptown.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's
Classy.
a nice little refreshing.
Okay, so what about a gal's night out dinner?
Yeah. Okay. So Samira's my go-to. I love Samira.
So we're talking. You need to.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're like, I need to go watch an episode of the podcast. Mm-hmm. We just did one with Anwar.
Okay. Yeah.
Go watch the one with Anwar.
I will. Yeah. I would love to.
His story is incredible.
Okay, fantastic. Yes. I'll watch it because I love going there. Most delicious eggplant. It's so delightful. Sometimes I go there and I don't order an entree. I just order 2 sides of the eggplant and have that for dinner. Okay. So yummy. This is actually like maybe slightly humiliating to admit. Recently, I had plans to go see a constellation show with a friend, and she had to cancel at the last minute. She had a health problem, and so we were going to go to dinner at Samira. And instead of going by myself, I just like ordered takeout on the phone, but I already had a babysitter, so someone's going home. And so I ordered takeout on the phone and then sat in my car and ate it and listened to my audiobook.
I love it.
Before I went to the show. It was an amazing night out.
I was going to say, it was probably great.
And then I went to go see Next to Normal. It was spectacular.
Yeah,
it was great.
Like,
It was great. It was
much.
great. Yeah, it was really good.
Just silence.
Yeah, so I love Samira, and I love the calzone at Lenny's. That's a go-to for me. Yeah,
their calzones don't get talked about enough.
Oh, they're so good. So good. They call it a stromboli, right?
Yeah. That's
no, well, yes, exactly. We get
it's actually a sore side. We don't have enough time for me to go. I'm just kidding.
Scholars disagree.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's your go-to?
For what's the
dinner?
the
For
situation?
Dinner. All right, so you're gonna go out. Yeah, you're
you
just
gotta paint
like
the scene.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Sorry, I'm new to this. I am. This is my first. That was my first time. So you are. Let's see. You've had a long week.
Okay.
Right. It's been hitting you thing after thing after thing, and you want to treat yourself a little bit. So you're going out with one friend.
Okay. Just one friend.
And you're gonna treat yourself to something that you really want for dinner. It's a little self-indulgent self-care.
Right.
You know?
So the thing I've been wanting to do and I'm going to do soon, I haven't yet, they're doing a duck for 2 at Elm.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's served like carved table side and everything.
All right.
So I want to do that because I just love duck.
Sign me up. Yeah, let's do that.
C3, man, I haven't, the thing is,
oh, I do love C3.
I used to eat out all the time,
Yeah.
and I still do a lot,
Same.
but like relative to the normal person, it's disgusting. But I don't, man, it's just not nearly like I used to. And there's all these places that I love.
Yeah.
And there's so many great places in town, 380 for those counting, 380 culinary offerings.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Visit Bloomington, for the stats.
That is good enough.
Yeah, so it's like, there can be a place you love, but like I haven't been to C3 in probably about a year.
Yeah.
And I love C3.
I love C3.
And it's like no shade or anything. It's just like I don't live on the east side, and I have to be intentional about going out there. But yes, Osteria, love Osteria.
Love.
Chicken
yes.
marsala. People are
my
probably
gosh.
tired of hearing me talk about their chicken marsala.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But they did the eggplant roltini.
You just love you some
I do love an eggplant. That's funny. It's really coming up tonight, isn't it? That's funny.
Yeah.
The food there, very delightful.
Do you have do you get to pop out for lunch very often, or do like lunch meetings?
So if I have an hour to do lunch, to leave my office and get back to my office, Happy Ties my go. Right?
Okay, yes.
So
I
first
love
of
it.
all, you can park there. Praise be. Okay. You can drive there. I can park there. I used to be able to walk there. I mean, I still could, but not in an hour.
Right.
Go there. $9.99 lunch menu. Who knows even how they do that? Yeah. Amen. Hype that. So Happy Ties my go-to.
So they used to include like spring roll or crab rangoon with but they got rid of that. But
well,
it's fine.
Inflation's a thing.
I know, and so they kept the pricing. So what's because I love to do their spicy crispy chicken.
Okay,
and I try to turn people on to this all the time. And
Uh-huh.
my thing, for those that have listened to the podcast for a long time, I'm not a huge like super spicy guy. Like if I go to a Thai place, I get a 2 out of 5.
Okay,
that's my. That's usually a good way to like tell someone how spicy you like things.
Right. Yep.
What's your order at a Thai restaurant?
So I'm usually a 4.
Ooh.
But it does depend on the restaurant, right?
Okay.
Sometimes a 4 is too much. I did a stint in the Peace Corps in West Africa.
Oh.
And when I went in, I had no tolerance for spicy food. And by the time I left, I had to get there.
Yeah,
right?
you're like, bring it on.
Yeah, it's a hospitality thing. It's a whole thing. There's a whole culture there about food, and you don't turn it down, and you have to eat it if it's presented to you, and lots of things.
So you do a lot of sweating.
That's right. So that's where I stopped being a vegetarian.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And that's where I started eating a lot of spicy foods.
Okay.
But so I built up a tolerance there. Although, again, getting old. So at lunchtime I can do a 4, but at dinner I better have a 2 or a 3. Otherwise,
Yeah, you're going to be rumbling.
Exactly. It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. I'm like, oh, I need my heartburn tablets.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Prilosec every morning.
That's right,
If I don't take it, I'm in pain later.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. The bottle's like, don't take longer than 4 weeks consecutively. I'm like, oh, here we are 4 years later.
Right, exactly.
You know,
I don't know who they're talking to.
Well, I thought when I quit drinking, it would just heal.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I think I need to like not eat acidic stuff for a month, but who's
but
doing,
do you
who's
think
doing that?
honestly,
Am I right?
what's the, there's a quality of life issue here, okay?
Yeah,
You know?
It's all about balance. Figuring
Exactly,
it out.
yeah.
But what I was going to say about the spicy crispy chicken.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's not even, so you just order it as a 2 or a 1 or a 0, and it's delicious. So don't let the fact that spicy's in the name scare you off.
Yes, and that's true. I think of everything there. And I'll tell you what, my kids love a curry.
Oh, okay.
So my kids are 2 years old, and they have, since they were babies, loved a curry.
Interesting.
Now, their go-to would be a paneer tikka masala from Taste. And I get it at a 1, right? So it's not, so they'll do it at a 0 there, which is no spice, but I'll get it at a 1 or even a 2. I'm easing them into a 2 there. But I love that because like,
so I have the spice tolerance of a 2-year-old is what you're telling me.
Of my 2-year-olds.
I thought you were going to sneak that by me. So my 2-year-olds eat 2. Anyway,
Sometimes, but you know what? Sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
Sometimes they put it right on the floor. So they eat, but what I love about that is, so, I come from a, really white bread Midwestern family, love. But like,
it was a wonder.
Yeah. But so it's one of those things where like, my parents were sure that they didn't like Indian food, right? Because it's too spicy.
Yes.
But you didn't have to be, right? Like
exactly.
you can try it and you can build it up, or you don't have to build it up, right? There was a time in my life when I thought I really needed to be a person who loved IPAs, right? You don't.
It's
okay.
All there,
we all know now that we didn't have to like it.
I was at that spot for a long time.
Yeah, you don't have to like spicy food. There are other ways to make it taste good and interesting. You're not proving anything to anybody, right? Like, if you are, then I can recommend a therapist for you because there are better ways to prove shit to people, right?
Yeah. And let's work through those.
And let's work through it because you have value.
Boom.
Yeah.
No better way to end it. Well, when you talked about the Peace Corps, I was like, man, we didn't even get to talk about your background or where you're, but it's fine.
We'll come back another time.
We'll have you back
another
time. This has been incredible.
Thank you for... We can talk at Charlie's next time.
Yeah, so Emily and I both worked at Charlie's.
Absolutely.
There's a little nugget that if you stay with us till the end, you got rewarded.
Caramel pie.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Ooey gooey. Emily, thank you so much. Go to newhopeforfamilies.org, set up a recurring donation if you feel so inclined. Go and volunteer. Do something in your community. And thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Anything else you want to throw in there?
Nah, thanks, Jordan. This was great.
All right, cheers. Appreciate it.
Bye.
You're still here. You made it, champ. I'm proud of you. Thanks to Game Day Men's Health, all of our other sponsors, and to G Baby Garrett with Green Hat Media. See you next time. This episode of the No Dishes Podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.